शिवशक्तिसमारम्भां भास्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मद्श्रीनाथपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रीनाथादिगुरुत्रयं गणपतिं पीठत्रयं भैरवं सिद्धौघं वटुकत्रयं पदयुगं दूतीक्रमं मण्डलं वीराङ्ग्यष्टचतुष्कषष्ठिनवकं वीरावली पञ्चकं श्रीमन्मालिनी मन्त्रराजसहितं वन्दे गुरोर्मण्डलम्। श्रीविमर्शानन्दनाथं सत्याम्बासहितं गुरुं हृत्पद्मकर्णिका मध्ये भावयेत् सर्वसिद्धये। श्रीभासुरानन्दनाथाय नमः। श्रीभास्करराय गुरुमण्डलाय नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्।
Namaste, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Matre Namaha. Welcome to today's session. We first learned the chanting of 83rd shloka.
Parājetuṃ rudraṃ.
Parājetuṃ rudraṃ. Parājetuṃ rudraṃ.
dviguṇaśaragarbhau girisute.
dviguṇaśaragarbhau girisute. dviguṇaśaragarbhau girisute.
Parājetuṃ rudraṃ dviguṇaśaragarbhau girisute.
Parājetuṃ rudraṃ dviguṇaśaragarbhau girisute. Parājetuṃ rudraṃ dviguṇaśaragarbhau girisute.
niṣaṅgau jaṅghe.
niṣaṅgau jaṅghe. niṣaṅgau jaṅghe.
viṣamaviśikho bāḍhamakṛta.
viṣamaviśikho bāḍhamakṛta. viṣamaviśikho bāḍhamakṛta.
niṣaṅgau jaṅghe viṣamaviśikho bāḍhamakṛta.
niṣaṅgau jaṅghe viṣamaviśikho bāḍhamakṛta. niṣaṅgau jaṅghe viṣamaviśikho bāḍhamakṛta.
yadagre dṛśyante.
yadagre dṛśyante. yadagre dṛśyante.
daśaśaraphalāḥ pādayugalī.
daśaśaraphalāḥ pādayugalī. daśaśaraphalāḥ pādayugalī.
yadagre dṛśyante daśaśaraphalāḥ pādayugalī.
yadagre dṛśyante daśaśaraphalāḥ pādayugalī. yadagre dṛśyante daśaśaraphalāḥ pādayugalī.
nakhāgracchadmānaḥ.
nakhāgracchadmānaḥ. nakhāgracchadmānaḥ.
suramakuṭaśāṇaikaniśitāḥ.
suramakuṭaśāṇaikaniśitāḥ. suramakuṭaśāṇaikaniśitāḥ.
nakhāgracchadmānaḥ suramakuṭaśāṇaikaniśitāḥ.
nakhāgracchadmānaḥ suramakuṭaśāṇaikaniśitāḥ. nakhāgracchadmānaḥ suramakuṭaśāṇaikaniśitāḥ. We'll recite all the 4 lines together 2 times. Parājetuṃ rudraṃ dviguṇaśaragarbhau girisute. niṣaṅgau jaṅghe viṣamaviśikho bāḍhamakṛta. yadagre dṛśyante daśaśaraphalāḥ pādayugalī. nakhāgracchadmānaḥ suramakuṭaśāṇaikaniśitāḥ. parājetuṃ rudraṃ dviguṇaśaragarbhau girisute. niṣaṅgau jaṅghe viṣamaviśikho bāḍhamakṛta. yadagre dṛśyante daśaśaraphalāḥ pādayugalī. nakhāgracchadmānaḥ suramakuṭaśāṇaikaniśitāḥ. We will now listen to the musical rendition of this shloka.
Parājetuṃ rudraṃ द्विगुणशरगर्भौ गिरिसुते
पराजेतुं रुद्रम् द्विगुणशरगर्भौ गिरिसुते
पराजेतुं रुद्रं द्विगुणशरगर्भौ गिरिसुते पराजेतुं रुद्रं द्विगुणशरगर्भौ गिरिसुते
निṣaṅgau jaṅghe ते viṣamaviśikho bāḍhamakṛta
निṣaṅgau jaṅghe ते viṣamaviśikho bāḍhamakṛta
निṣaṅgau jaṅghe ते viṣamaviśikho bāḍhamakṛta निṣaṅgau jaṅghe ते viṣamaviśikho bāḍhamakṛta
पराजेतुं रुद्रं द्विगुणशरगर्भौ गिरिसुते निṣaṅgau jaṅghe ते viṣamaviśikho bāḍhamakṛta
पराजेतुं रुद्रम् द्विगुणशरगर्भौ गिरिसुते निṣaṅgau jaṅghe ते viṣamaviśikho bāḍhamakṛta
पराजेतुं रुद्रं द्विगुणशरगर्भौ गिरिसुते निṣaṅgau jaṅghe ते viṣamaviśikho bāḍhamakṛta पराजेतुं रुद्रं द्विगुणशरगर्भौ गिरिसुते निṣaṅgau jaṅghe ते viṣamaviśikho bāḍhamakṛta
yadagre dṛśyante daśaśaraphalāḥ pādayugalī
yadagre dṛśyante daśaśaraphalāḥ pādayugalī
यदग्रे दृश्यन्ते दशशरफलाः पादयुगली यदग्रे दृश्यन्ते दशशरफलाः पादयुगली
nakhāgracchadmānaḥ suramakuṭaśāṇaikaniśitāḥ nakhāgracchadmānaḥ suramakuṭaśāṇaikaniśitāḥ
nakhāgracchadmānaḥ suramakuṭaśāṇaikaniśitāḥ nakhāgracchadmānaḥ suramakuṭaśāṇaikaniśitāḥ
yadagre dṛśyante daśaśaraphalāḥ pādayugalī nakhāgracchadmānaḥ suramakuṭaśāṇaikaniśitāḥ yadagre dṛśyante
daśaśaraphalāḥ pādayugalī nakhāgracchadmānaḥ suramakuṭaśāṇaikaniśitāḥ
यदग्रे दृश्यन्ते दशशरफलाः पादयुगली नाखाग्रच्छद्मानः सुरमकुटशानैकनिषेधाः यदग्रे दृश्यन्ते दशशरफलाः पादयुगली नाखाग्रच्छद्मानः suramakuṭaśāṇaikaniśitāḥ
पराजेतुं रुद्रं द्विगुणशरगर्भौ गिरिसूते निṣaṅgau jaṅghe ते विṣamaviśikho bāḍhamakṛta yadagre dṛśyante daśaśaraphalāḥ pādayugalī nakhāgracchadmānaḥ suramakuṭaśāṇaikaniśitāḥ
पराजेतुं रुद्रं द्विगुणशरगर्भौ गिरिसूते निṣaṅgau jaṅghe ते विṣamaviśikho bāḍhamakṛta yadagre dṛśyante daśaśaraphalāḥ pādayugalī nakhāgracchadmānaḥ suramakuṭaśāṇaikaniśitāḥ
parājetuṃ rudraṃ dviguṇaśaragarbhau girisute niṣaṅgau jaṅghe te viṣamaviśikho bāḍhamakṛta yadagre dṛśyante daśaśaraphalāḥ pādayugalī nakhāgracchadmānaḥ suramakuṭaśāṇaikaniśitāḥ parājetuṃ rudraṃ dviguṇaśaragarbhau girisute niṣaṅgau jaṅghe te viṣamaviśikho bāḍhamakṛta yadagre dṛśyante daśaśaraphalāḥ pādayugalī nakhāgracchadmānaḥ suramakuṭaśāṇaikaniśitāḥ.
Let us see the meanings of this verse. Bhagavad Pada addresses here Devi as Girisute, Hey Parvati. Viṣamaviśikho, the person with 5 arrows, meaning Manmatha. Rudraṃ parājetuṃ, wanting to defeat Rudra. Te, your. Jaṅghe, calf muscles, the part between knees and ankles. dviguṇaśaragarbhau, doubling the number of arrows using niṣaṅgau, 2 quivers. Akrita, akrita is bāḍhamakṛta. The last word of the second line has to be split as bāḍham and akrita. Akrita means made like that. Bāḍham, yes, for sure. Why? Because yadagre, in front of the quivers, pādayugalī, your 2 legs, nakhāgracchadmānaḥ, meaning the edges of your nails, suramakuṭa, the crowns of devas, śāṇaikaniśitāḥ. Śāṇaikaniśitāḥ means the wet stone, wet meaning WHET stone, which is also called the sharpening stone, used for sharpening metals, knives, scissors, etc. daśaśaraphalāḥ, the 10 edges of the sharp arrows of Manmatha, dṛśyante, is seen. So he says, Hey Parvati, Manmatha, ever wanting to defeat Lord Shiva, here he calls him as Rudra, the angry god, to avenge the past defeat when Shiva burnt him to ashes. Meaning, Manmatha is always on the lookout for opportunities to take revenge on Shiva to defeat him. Here, Bhagavad Pada says, Manmatha is now using the part of Devi's legs below the knee as his quiver to hold his arrows. Manmatha usually has 1 quiver with 5 arrows. Now he is excited as he sees he can use both the legs of Devi as his quiver, and so he can use 10 arrows in total. That is, he is doubling up his capacity to attack Shiva. Adi Shankara's creative mind imagines.
Bhagavad Pada says, Bādham, yes for sure. Manmatha has doubled his arrows and gives a reason for this. The toenails of Devi are sharp like the sharp edges of arrows. Also, they are sharpened on a regular basis by the hard crowns of Devas who are always prostrating at Devi's feet, and her toenails touch the crowns. The hard crowns are compared with sharpening stones or whetstones, which are normally used for sharpening knives, scissors, spears, and arrows. Because of this sharpening, Devi's sharp end of toenails appear like 10 sharp arrows. In this verse, Bhagavad Pada explains the two opposite pulls like a tug of war. The tug of war is between two opposite forces, one caused by Manmatha or Kamadeva inducing desire, and the other by Shiva representing the yogic penance and tapas and control of all senses. Humans are torn apart by these two opposite forces all the time. Here is where the universal mother comes to our rescue. Sri Vidya Tantras provide humans a path to transform the kama or desire and turn it into a vehicle or tool to attain oneness with Devi, attaining the moksha or liberation called Videha Kaivalyam. At the surface level, humans will perceive the two, kama and moksha, as opposite forces like in a tug of war. But for a Sri Vidya Upasaka, due to the constant practice of japa, nyasa, and parayanas, he gets the divine grace of Gurus and Devi and is able to perceive the two opposite forces as complementary and is able to quickly attain both Shivashayujyam and Shaktishayujyam every moment of his life. The Bhoga Purusharthas and Moksha Purusharthas do not pull him in opposite directions but work in synergy. Adi Shankara seems to indicate this in almost every shloka of Soundaryalahari.
In yesterday's session, the 82nd shloka, we saw Bhagavad Pada explaining Devi's thighs and knees. Lalita Sahasranama mentions two namas explaining the same as Kameshajñāta Saubhagya Mardava Urudvayanvita and Manikya Makutakara Janudvaya Virajita, meaning the symmetry and smoothness of Devi's thighs are only known to Shiva and her knees shine like jeweled crowns. The next two lines of Lalita Sahasranama are being explained by Bhagavad Pada in this shloka. Indragopa parikshipta smaratūṇābha jaṅghika, smaratūṇa abha jaṅghika, meaning her jangha or the calf muscles are like the Indragopa parikshipta, sapphire studded tūna, or meaning the quiver of smara, smaratūṇa abha jaṅghika, similar to the quiver of smara or manmatha.
Bhagavad Pada described Devi's calves, that is the portion below her knees, and her toenails are sharp edges of the arrows. But what about her ankles? We get the answer from Lalita Sahasranama. The next nama is Guda Gulpa, meaning her ankles are hidden, so maybe he skipped because of this. The 44th nama of Lalita Sahasranama is significant now as it partly explains the inner meaning of this verse. Nakhadidhiti sanchanna namajjana tamoguna. The meaning of this verse in Lalita Sahasranama is the bright light from her toenails remove the darkness of her worshippers. The Vedas say, Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya, meaning lead me into the light and dispel my darkness. The reason for Devas prostrating at the feet of Devi is precisely this. They know that only Devi's feet can dispel their ignorance called darkness or tamoguna. The reference to Vishnu, Brahma, and other devas bowing down to Devi with their crowns in the 29th verse of Soundaryalahari is further explained in this verse. They bow with their crowns so that the reflected light from their crowns can enter their hearts and remove their darkness. If Vishnu, Brahma, and other devas are doing this daily, imagine how important it is for all of us to pray at our feet for the darkness in our hearts to be removed. Darkness is called avidya. Only when this avidya is uprooted from the roots, we can get the jnana. Only Sri Guru's feet, which are the physical representation of Devi's feet, can remove this Moola Avidya and bestow Jnana. As the Kaula Upanishad says, Atmajnana Mokshaha, meaning only self-realization can lead to liberation. Bhagavad Pada is indicating this highest human attainment of moksha in this verse. Now let us see why Bhagavad Pada says that each of the nails in each leg represents the 5 arrows of Manmatha. Because these 5 arrows are in the feet of Devi, Manmatha's arrows have doubled. Each of Devi's calves are the quiver of Manmatha. Manmatha's arrows imagined in Devi's feet means they are also Devi's 5 arrows or her 5 Pushpa Banas. Bhavanopanishad says, Shabdadi Tanmatraha Pancha Pushpa Banaha. The 5 Panchabhutas are Prithvi, Apaha, Tejaha, Vayu, and Akasha. The qualities of these Panchabhutas are called Tanmatras, and they are Gandha for Prithvi, meaning earth, Rasa for Apaha or water, Rupa or form for fire, Sparsha or touch for Vayu or air, and Shabda sound for Akasha or ether. All the sentiments and emotions we feel are due to these Panchatanmatras, and only when we are able to control these, we will be able to attain the status of a Shiva Yogi, meaning to be one with Parabrahman. As Tantras proclaim, the same things which can lead a sadhaka to a great height can also lead a sadhaka to more and more attachment to worldly desires. Sri Vidya is the science of transforming Manmatha's arrows to aid a sadhaka and bring yogic success. This is why Sri Vidya is also called Kamakala Vidya. The 5 arrows of Manmatha, the Pushpabanas or flower arrows, are 3 types. One is physical, Sthula, meaning the 5 flowers like lotus, Raktakairava, Kalhara, Indivara, and mango flower. The second type is the Sukshma type, which are the 5 Bija mantras, and the third type, which is the Supreme or Para, are the Vasanas. Also, in the Shakti Kuta, that is from below waist to feet, Devi is in the form of Parashakti. The 5 arrows represent the Vasanas in the Para state. Vasana means the impression of anything remaining unconsciously in our mind. Avidya Vasana means the impressions we carry in our mind unconsciously due to avidya or duality, and we have very little control over it. Only Paravidya Devi's feet are capable of removing this avidya vasana.
Different texts give different interpretations for the 5 arrows. The Karnika Purana says the 5 arrows are the ones that cause joy, that are pleasing, cause confusion, cause to fade, and causing death. The Jnanarnava and Tantra Raja Tantra say the 5 arrows to be confusion, putting to flight, attracting, controlling, and causing madness. As Devi's feet are tender and soft like a lotus, Adi Shankara relates them to the flowery arrows of Manmatha. The 45th Lalita Sahasranama Nama Padadvaya Prabhajala Parakrita Saroruha means the soles of her feet by their beauty put to shame the beautiful and tender lotus. Another interesting fact is the reference to the feet, calves, thighs, and hips in the 3 verses starting from the 81st shloka relating to the Shakti Kuta. In the Srividya Nyasa of Chatushpitha Nyasa performed by a sadhaka, the 4 pithas are hips, thighs, calves and feet. And looks like Bhagavad Pada is alluding to the performance of the Chatushpitha Nyasa in these shlokas. We will now move on to the 84th shloka and learn the chanting part first.
श्रुतीनां मूर्धानो
श्रुतीनां मूर्धानो
दधति तव यौ शेखरतया
दधति तव यौ शेखरतया दधति तव यौ शेखरतया
श्रुतीनां मूर्धानो दधति तव यौ शेखरतया
श्रुतीनां मूर्धानो दधति तव यौ शेखरतया श्रुतीनां मूर्धानो दधति तव यौ शेखरतया
ममाप्येतौ मातः
ममाप्येतौ मातः
शिरसि दयया देहि चरणौ
शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ
ममाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया देहि चरणौ
ममाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ ममाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ
ययोः पाद्यं पाथः
ययोः पाद्यं पाथः
पशुपति जटाजूटतटिनी
पशुपति जटाजूटतटिनी
ययोः पाद्यं पाथः पशुपति जटाजूटतटिनी
ययोः पाद्यं पाथः पशुपति जटाजूटतटिनी ययोः पाद्यं पाथः पशुपति जटाजूटतटिनी
ययोर्लाक्षालक्ष्मीः
ययोर्लाक्षालक्ष्मीः
अरुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः
अरुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः
ययोर्लाक्षालक्ष्मीररुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः
ययोर्लाक्षालक्ष्मीररुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः. We will recite all the 4 lines together twice. श्रुतीनां मूर्धानो दधति तव यौ शेखरतया ममाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ ययोः पाद्यं पाथः पशुपति जटाजूटतटिनी ययोर्लाक्षालक्ष्मीररुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः श्रुतीनां मूर्धानो दधति तव यौ शेखरतया ममाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ ययोः पाद्यं पाथः पशुपति जटाजूटतटिनी ययोर्लाक्षालक्ष्मीररुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः. We will listen to Priya Paramesh, Mahinta and Karthik and learn this shloka in Maya Malava Gaulai Ragam.
श्रुतीनां मूर्धानो दधति तव यौ शेखरतया
श्रुतीनां मूर्धानो दधति तव यौ शेखरतया
श्रुतीनां मूर्धानो दधति तव यौ शेखरतया श्रुतीनां मूर्धानो दधति तव यौ शेखरतया
मामाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ मामाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ
मामाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ मामाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ
श्रुतीनां मूर्धानो दधति तव यौ शेखरतया मामाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ श्रुतीनां मूर्धानो दधति तव यौ शेखरतया मामाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ
श्रुतीनां मूर्धानो दधति तव यौ शेखरतया मामाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ श्रुतीनां मूर्धानो दधति तव यौ शेखरतया मामाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ
ययोः पाद्यं पातः पशुपतिजटाजूटतटिनी ययोः पाद्यं पातः पशुपतिजटाजूटतटिनी
ययोः पाद्यं पातः पशुपतिजटाजूटतटिनी ययोः पाद्यं पातः पशुपतिजटाजूटतटिनी
ययोर्लक्षलक्ष्मीररुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः ययोर्लक्षलक्ष्मीररुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः
ययोर्लक्षलक्ष्मीररुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः ययोर्लक्षलक्ष्मीररुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः
ययोः पाद्यं पाथः पशुपतिजटाजूटतटिनी ययोर्लक्षलक्ष्मीररुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः ययोः पाद्यं पाथः पशुपतिजटाजूटतटिनी ययोर्लक्षलक्ष्मीररुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः
ययोः पाद्यं पातः पशुपतिजटाजूटतटिनी ययोर्लक्षलक्ष्मीररुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः ययोः पाद्यं पातः पशुपतिजटाजूटतटिनी ययोर्लक्षलक्ष्मीररुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः
श्रुतीनां मूर्धानो दधति तव यौ शेखरतया मामाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ ययोः पाद्यं पाथः पशुपतिजटाजूटतटिनी यायोर्लक्षलक्ष्मीररुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः
श्रुतीनां मूर्धानो दधति तवयो शेखरतया मामाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ ययोः पाद्यं पातः पशुपतिजटाजूटतटिनी यायोर्लक्षलक्ष्मीररुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः
श्रुतीनां मूर्धानो दधति तव यौ शेखरतया मामाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ ययोपाद्यं पातः पशुपतिजटाजूटतटिनी यायोर्लक्षलक्ष्मीर् अरुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः श्रुतीनां मूर्धानो दधति तव यौ शेखरतया मामाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ ययोः पाद्यं पातः पशुपतिजटाजूटतटिनी यायोर्लक्षलक्ष्मीररुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः.
Let us see the meanings now. Here he addresses her as mātaḥ, O mother. Tava yau caraṇau, these 2 feet of yours, śekharatayā dadhati, which are like the ornaments on the crown. Śekharatayā means, shekhara means crown, which are like ornaments on the crown. Śrutīnāṃ mūrdhāno, Shruti means Vedas. On the heads of Shrutis or Vedas, yetau. Yetau is from the first word in the second line, mamāpyetau. Yetau, these 2 feet, dayayā, with mercy, compassion, mama shirasi api dhehi, please place them on my head also. Yayoḥ pādyam pāthaḥ, to which are offered the pādyam, meaning worshipped by washing with water, Pashupati jatajuta tatini, by the river Ganges, which is locked in the jata or hair of Pashupati. Yayoḥ lakshalakshmihi, the shining lac color on these 2 feet, arunahari chudamani ruchihi, they shine as the red chudamani or the kaustubha jewel on the head of Hari or Vishnu.
In this verse, Bhagavad Pada is describing the feet of Devi. In the previous verse, we saw that Devi's toenails are capable of removing Mula Avidya or ignorance. The removal of Avidya leads one to go near Brahman. Now, let us see the meaning of the word Upanishad. Upa means bringing the self or Atman near Brahman, the realization of Aham Brahmasmi. Brahman is Advaita, which is opposed to duality. This duality is Avidya, and destroying it is Vidya or Sri Vidya. Nishad means sitting, and Upanishad means being close to Brahman, meaning destroying ignorance or darkness, explained by us in the Lalita Sahasrama verse, Nakhāgracchadmānaḥ sanchanna namajjana tamoguna. We explained in verse 3 of Soundaryalahari how Devi's feet are the light which dispel the darkness for those who are drowned in duality. Avidyanam antastimira mihira dvipa nagari. In this verse, Bhagavatpada further explains the glory of Devi's feet. In verse 4 of Soundaryalahari, we saw Devi's feet can remove fear and grant our wishes much more than we ask. Bhayat tratum datum phalamapicha vancha samadhikam. Abhayam or removal of fear is Lakshana or characteristic of Brahman. Let us recall our explanation from Taittiriya Upanishad. Yadagre vaishaye tasmin adrishye anatme anirukte anilayane abhayam pratishtham vindhate atasaha abhayam gataha bhavati. This is a reference to the moksha purushartha. Vancha adhikam phalam means the grant of, bhoga means the obtaining of dharma, artha and kama purusharthas. Once again, Bhagavatpada reiterates the fact that Devi's feet is the only savior for us. In the 4th verse of Soundaryalahari, we saw Sharanye lokanam tavahi caraṇau eva nipunau. With this understanding, we can now understand this verse. Upanishad teaches us the Brahma Vidya. That is why Upanishads are supposed to be the head or crown of Vedas. They are the essence of Vedas, teaching humans the real nature of self or Atman and its relationship with the Parabrahman or supreme consciousness.
Devi's feet are, compared to Upanishads, the crown of Vedas, meaning her feet are the cause for getting moksha or liberation. Before one can become a recipient of this jnana or moksha, all the past sins and vasanas have to be removed first. Bhagavatpada requests Devi to show mercy on him and place her feet on his head. By saying this, Diksha or initiation, where the Guru places his feet on the head of the disciple, is explained. He says, Devi's feet have been washed by the holy river Ganges herself. Padyam is the act of washing someone's feet. Here, Devi's feet are not washed by ordinary water. The holy river Ganga herself flows through Devi's feet as offering a padyam to her. We have seen in the 10th shloka, Sudhādhārā sāraish charana yugalantar vigalitaihi, how the padyam from Devi's feet and Guru's feet is like Sudha or the nectar or Amrita.
The Shruti or Vedas say, Lokasya tvaramarchimat pavitram jyotishmat bhrajamanam hasvat amritasya dhara bahudha dohamanam charananno loke sudhitam dadhatu. When this water flows through her feet, the white water of Ganga is mixed with the Laksharasa or the reddish color resin which is used to decorate Devi's feet. When Hari or Vishnu goes down to Devi wearing his crowns, the Kaustubha mani in his crown gets enhanced due to the contact with Devi's red feet, and this gem becomes the red Chudamani in Vishnu's crown. Vishnu now becomes Vishnu Maya, the first attribute of the 23 attributes of Devi mentioned in the Devi Suktam. Bhagavatpada, by mentioning the name Vishnu, is giving us a hint that chanting Devi Suktam is the easiest way for devotees to reach her. Also, the Rigveda Devi Suktam is a hymn where Devi declares that whatever be the wish of devas or humans, she will fulfill them. Ahameva swayamidam vadami jushtam devi bhirutamanu yang kamaye tantam ugrang krinomitam brahmanantam rishintam sumedham aham rudraya dhanurātanomi brahmadvishesharavehantavau aham janāya samadang krinomyahandyava prithivi avivesha. In this Rigvedic Devi Suktam verse, Devi assumes the form of all-powerful Durga or Adi Parashakti who fights all evil forces. This idea is conveyed in the 11th chapter of Devi Mahatmyam, where Devi says, whenever Devas face problems, she will take birth to kill the evil forces and protect her devotees. If one wants victory in war, she will grant him power, strength, and victory. If one wants supreme knowledge or Brahmajnana, she will make that person to be a Brahmajnani. If one wants to be a Rishi, she will make him to be a learned scholar and a wise person. Bhagavad Pada is praying to Devi in this verse to bless him to be a Rishi and a Brahmajnani.
Yam yam chintayate kamam tam tam prapnoti nishchitam. Whatever karma or desire one has, Devi will certainly fulfill that, says Devi Mahatyam. While Adi Shankara sought Brahmajnana, Chhatrapati Shivaji and Guru Gobind Singh invoked Chandi to get victory over their enemies before setting out for war. We just need to know very clearly what we need from her. She is ready to give us whatever we want. With this, we conclude today's session. We will meet again tomorrow, same time, as we learn the next two set of shlokas. Namaste, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Matre Namaha.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Matre Namaha.
शिवे शिवसुशीतलामृततरङ्गगन्धोल्लसन् नवावरणदेवते नवनवामृतस्यन्दिनी गुरुक्रमपुरस्कृते गुणशरीरनित्योज्ज्वले षडङ्गपरिवारिते कालितयेष पुष्पाञ्जलिः कालितयेष पुष्पाञ्जलिः